listening to All Chiefed Up, the best damn Kansas City Chiefs podcast in the kingdom.
Chiefs Kingdom, welcome back to All Chiefed Up. I am Steve Williams. I'm here with Mike Williams, and we're coming at you today with a little bit of talk about the Chiefs in rookie camp this weekend. But first things first, I totally hit on the Kentucky Derby today. Of course,
you did.
Hey, I had to pick the long shot, man. I mean, why not?
Dude, I use the same strategy. I put like $2 or $3 on every long shot. I get to the end. This guy, the longest of long shots win. And I'm like, who's this horse? I didn't see him. I scroll down my app. They put him after the scratches. So I totally missed him. I bet on every long shot, but the actual long shot. Ain't that something?
You have to bet on the horse named Rich Strike, right? I mean, it's all about that money.
Dude, it's my luck.
Hey, it's cool though. I'll take what they're giving me and put it in my pocket. I wasn't even gonna bet, and then at the last minute, I was like, yeah, why not? Let me grab my wallet off the table here, and it worked out. So good stuff. He came from behind like crazy too. Like two of the favorite horses were out in front battling it out, and this dude just shot up through there like he had a rocket in his butt, and totally it was nuts. But yeah,
he wasn't even supposed to be there. He just got into town like last night.
Right. I think another horse scratched and got pulled out or whatever. And
yeah, and the dude's bought him for like 30,000, and then he wins the Kentucky Derby. That's like the best investment ever.
It's a good story though. Hey, but anything can happen at the Derby, man. It's always crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So how's it going in Mike's world? Anything cool going on?
No, just trying to still avoid all the Kentucky rain that we keep having. It's like a monsoon here. I feel like we've moved to Seattle and we don't know.
No kidding. It's supposed to be nice outside tomorrow, like 70 degrees and sunny. So I think we're going to try to get out on the golf course, aren't we?
Yes. I want to play some golf. I'm probably going to suck because it's been a while, but
yeah, I went last weekend. I sucked, but I had some good moments. So it's the first round of the year. What do you expect?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Chiefs, they have the rookies in camp this weekend. So haven't really seen a whole lot about it. And I did read a little bit. I did see where George Karlaftis is giving those tackles fits in rookie camp. Did you see that?
Yeah, I'd seen something about it. Somebody actually tweeted us and told us about it as well. I guess they've been reading the same things that we had found. But yeah, Karlaftis, we kind of knew he was going to do that. He's big and strong. He's very much a willing person to give all effort all the time. So we knew what you were going to get with Karlaftis. That I'm surprised he slipped down the draft boards like that. I think when it's all said and done, he could be one of the top 2 or 3 rushers out of this class. And that's why I believe you've seen Johnson fall down the board. A lot of people didn't think Jermaine Johnson had that work ethic, had that willingness to fight. I mean, Kayvon Thibodeau even had that same thing where they thought maybe he'd give up on double teams and he would just take himself out of the play. But you don't have that question with Karlaftis, and it's looking like it's going to translate over. And I think Chiefs Kingdom's going to be pretty pleased with Karlaftis, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped about it. I mean, he's definitely an effort guy. And not only is he extremely talented and very productive, but he's an effort guy. He's going to put in the work, and he's going to give it 100% on Sunday. So I'm excited to see how he works out this year. I think he's going to be very successful. Probably going to be the most impactful player on our defense this year as far as rookies go, in my opinion. I think Leo Chenal could probably give him a little run for his money. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Chenal is going to be decently productive. I read that he's actually learning some of the Mike position.
Yep.
Veach had said he was going to probably play the Sam, which obviously I think if you learn, the Sam, the Mike kind of like goes hand in hand. But I mean, you have to got to give an insurance policy for Nick Bolton. Those are thumpers right there in the defense, in the middle of the defense. And if you hit like that and you play, they've now added 17 games and the Chiefs are playing playoff games and we're playing preseason games, and we played more football than anybody over the past 2 to 3 years. So these guys are going to take injuries and stuff. You've got to have insurance plans and backup plans. And Chenal, like we have said earlier, he's not much of a downgrade, hopefully, to what we've seen on film, to what Nick Bolton brings. So I think Chenal is going to be just fine in our linebacking core.
Right. And for those of you who are casual fans and don't know exactly what we're talking about, Mike's position is a middle linebacker. Sam is going to play on the strong side of the ball. And then, of course, the Will plays on the weak side of the ball. And that's all dictated by where the tight end or how many receivers are lined up on the offense. So, yeah, he did say he was learning the Mike, but he's probably going to be in the Sam. I see Nick Bolton in the Mike, Willie Gay in the Will. And it's going to be a fun linebacker core for this team. I'm excited to see how it goes, man.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. I also seen where McDuffie is going to learn the nickel and, the outside corner position as well. He's going to learn both of those. And he says, I'm kind of just trying to learn both positions and go out there and just fill it out. But we had said that before. At worst with McDuffie, you're getting a nickel corner, and with his willingness to tackle, his speed, his ball closing, his toughness, his IQ, we knew you were going to probably get a top 4, 5, 6 nickel corner in football right off the bat, and he's only going to get better. And now it just kind of lets Snead and Fenton and everybody starts to be interchangeable a little bit. And I mean, I think McDuffie's going to prove to be worth his draft position as well. I'd seen where a sports writer had said that we give up too much to get McDuffie. We had kind of floated that idea, but we had come to the conclusion that no, we think McDuffie's probably worth it. But yeah, it's starting to be floated around out there. I'm reading.
Yeah, whatever we gave up in the draft for him was completely fair. I think it was a good move by Veach. I think he's going to be a day one starter. I think he's going to be a day one impact player. I mean, McDuffie's got all the tools, man. I think he's going to be good. Like I said on a previous episode, I believe when all said and done, he could be the top cornerback out of this class coming out of this draft. So I mean, I put a lot of stock in Sauce Gardner. I think he might have been the most pro-ready player coming out of the draft. But I don't think McDuffie's far behind him. And then, of course, with Derek Stingley, he's got all the tools and the athletic traits, but I'm not big on his effort and things like that. So I'm just not big on him. He could prove me completely wrong and come out and just be a complete stud. But right now, I have Sauce and McDuffie above him. So I don't see the problem with coming up and grabbing him at 21 for what we gave up.
No, and it just all boils down to their character. I think him and Karlaftis are just high character dudes who, if you put them on you put them on the Jets and they win one game, they're going to give you just as much effort as if they're chasing the Super Bowl in Kansas City. So I think that's what Veach wanted, and I think he done a really good job up and down the board. Like switching gears, I also seen some footage of Kennard blocking and stuff out there this weekend, and that dude is an absolute monster.
Look, guys, I didn't pump this guy up for no reason. Not just because I'm a Kentucky fan or anything like that, but Kennard's the real deal, man. I think you guys need to sit back, let him kind of ease into the NFL and into the pro game. And I think he's going to be just fine. I think he's going to be very impactful. And I definitely think he's going to be a starter over Lucas Niang. So, I mean, I'm excited to see how that offensive line shapes up. I think it's a top 3 in football, the way it's sitting. If Kennard were to come out and be just as much of a wrecking ball as Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey have been, I mean, we could be looking at the best offensive line in football. I mean, if you look at Kennard, like a lot of his knocks and stuff coming out of college, I mean, it's almost identical to what they said about Orlando Brown Jr., which just so happens to be he's over on the left side of the line. And maybe that's what Brett Veach and crew saw in Darian Kennard. They saw that Orlando Brown type tackle and they like it. So maybe that's why they went with him.
Yeah. And so rounding out a few other players, we got some injury concerns still. Brian Cook's still recovering from that shoulder. I don't know how much he's getting to do in camp. Skyy Moore looks like he's got a hamstring injury. And me and you were talking off camera, and we really hope Skyy Moore with his hamstring injury, this isn't going to be a precursor to him always having some kind of small little injury, because when it comes to Andy Reid's offense, if you're not able to participate and learn this stuff and get your reps in, you will get lost in the fold. And I think Skyy Moore's got a bright future, but there's been so many receivers get drafted and just can't get over these small hamstring injuries, these small little nagging things. And before you know it, 2 years go by and their careers just kind of washed already.
I totally agree. I think it's way too early to worry about that, though. It's probably just something little. I think he'll be out there before we know it. And he's a very smart guy, and he's very into learning the playbook and everything. I think he would just fine. As far as Brian Cook goes, I mean, this guy's always walloping people. He's always going to have a shoulder injury of some sort. It's always going to be a little sore because he's just wearing people out there. And I think he's going to bring that mentality to the NFL. And it's going to be great watching him and Chanel go around just ringing heads, man.
Yeah. And then I seen where we signed Pacheco, the 7th-round running back from Rutgers. We signed him to a 4-year deal for
Nice, nice.
a 7th-round pick. So they must really have some high hopes in Pacheco, which we've said, I think by the end of the year, it's possible he could be starting games the way Clyde gets injured. And, we kind of run that committee style anyways, once it gets going in a lot of situations. So I believe Isaiah Pacheco has a lot of opportunity in Kansas City. And I believe if he capitalizes, he could be the next Kareem Hunt style guy that just comes out of nowhere off the radar and does good things.
Oh yeah, Pacheco could be the steal of the draft when all is said and done, because he's first of all he's the fastest running back in the draft. I had no idea until I read it the other day when I think it was Peter Schrager. Like, could the league really let Kansas City draft the fastest running back in the class in the 7th round? On top of letting Kansas City draft Skyy Moore, who is going to fit in perfectly with Andy Reid offense. So I think Kansas City, they really checked all the boxes here. Except maybe one in my opinion, and I did write an article about that. You can check it out on allchiefedup.com. Mike, did you get a chance to read through that article at all?
I did. I read it last night. You had spoke about maybe us needing to draft a defensive tackle to go along with Chris Jones. I
Yeah,
sort of think that's why they drafted Karlaftis in a way, because I believe Karlaftis can kick down into that inside on certain packages. But I'm with you. We do need another guy in the middle there with Jones. I think if anything, it's just it frees up Jones. It frees up our edge rushers more. And to be honest, like you said, the guys we have just they're serviceable, but they're just not that piece that like puts us over the top. And I mean, if you look back a few years ago when we had Pinnell, just him being a run stopping specialist, our defense looked totally different with him, stopping the run than it did, last year even. So we
right.
do need another guy like that. I don't know. I mean, it's too late in the year. I wouldn't see him trading for anything. I feel like you said, we may just go into camp with what we have, and maybe Veach just start scouring the waiver wire and things throughout the season. Like, who knows? But
Right. I unless I see something in Taylor Stallworth that I don't, I think that, pretty much you're just going to go into camp with what we got. But yeah, make sure you go on All Chiefed Up, read that article, allchiefedup.com, and hit us up on Twitter and let us know what you think about that or what your opinion is on that situation. But yeah, I think it could be a little bit of the gaping hole in the defense, because we've totally restructured that defense now, and it looks pretty solid, even though it's very young. And I feel like that might be the weak link. But moving on from that, Jerry and Ely, a UDFA signing from Ole Miss. He's a running back, but it looks like that they've brought him into camp as a wide receiver / running back, which is very interesting. Which I know, like I've talked about before, I was excited about Jerry and Ely being a Chief because of his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield and his quickness and stuff. So, any idea why they might have that label on him right now, Mike? Is it going to be like another Dexter McCluster in here, something like that?
that's the exact name I was just thinking in my head. Like, it sounds like they may try to do some cluster type stuff, maybe some DeAnthony Thomas type situations where he's just going to be a quick, guy in space. You just want to get him the ball, make somebody miss. Is he going to make the team? I don't know. I think they're maybe giving him a chance to make the team by putting 15 different names behind him, running back, wide receivers. So, if he can get on with just special teams, he may get that 6th receiver or that 4th, 5th running back spot just to, play a little special teams for us. And
Right.
I
He's
mean,
he's definitely a return specialist, so I think he probably makes the team. I do see him being utilized more in the return game at first, but you never know. He could break into running back or receiver role. All right. Also, Justyn Ross, the UDFA signing that everybody is completely pumped about. Spectacular wide receiver prospect coming out of Clemson. Had some medical things going on and dropped completely out of the draft, and we nabbed him up. So yeah, everybody's completely pumped on him. I didn't read anything about him at the rookie camp yet, and it's still early. I mean, they've just been there for a day now, so I'm excited to see how he works out. Mike, you think he's going to make the team and make an impact?
I think he has a chance. I think he's got more of a chance than people would think he's got coming as a UDFA, because he does have, I mean, like we said, we give him round 2 talent at some point. It's just he's strictly just injuries and the unknown, and maybe a little bit of, Does he not have enough speed? You know, he may have fell into that category, kind of like Drake London kind of did, or some of those guys. And yeah, I think he's got a chance to make the team. I don't know how much of an impact he has day one, because I mean, we all kind of thought Josh Gordon would have made a little more of an impact than he did, but you see how important it is to get in there and get those reps in this playbook, because that playbook is pretty insane. And if you don't, if you can't grasp all that and get in the lineup, then you're not going to get a chance to make those big plays like he made at Clemson. So I'm just hoping he has a good, healthy camp. And I do believe if he gets through camp healthy, he can get on the roster.
Right. So 2 quick questions. Who do you think has a better chance of making an impact this year at receiver? Is it Justyn Ross or Josh Gordon? And also, is it too early to give up on Josh Gordon, or do you think that's kind of sailed and he's probably never going to return to form?
I don't know if Josh Gordon will get back to Josh Gordon that we know. I really don't, but I do think he has time to learn. He's set on our did he sit on our practice squad for a little bit?
Yeah.
And yeah, but I also wouldn't write off the one that we threw a draft pick at last year, Cornell Powell from Clemson. He's had a year to work and get better, and he stayed on the practice squad. And like I'd said earlier, we cut Dieter on the first day. We waived him. And so
Don't we always though?
Yeah, but I think this time, I think it was easy enough to see that, Dieter is far behind, like over Powell and, Corey Coleman we had brought in as well. And we've got Josh Gordon. And I think the depth's just there so much that I think that, by cutting Dieter now, it gives them a chance to go find a team to get into camp with. And I mean, it speaks to how deep we are at wide receiver, to be honest. But yeah, I don't think they want to give up on players like Powell and stuff, because they did spend some draft capital on him, and he is learning the game and he's doing better. So, but yeah, with your question with Gordon, I don't know if Gordon's going to make that impact or not. Like, something tells me he's just never going to like pan out to what we think he should have.
Right. So Justyn Ross or Josh Gordon, who do you give the edge to make a bigger impact on the team this coming season?
I'll say Justyn Ross, just for the sheer fact that he's younger. I think we're trying to get younger. I think that gives them, if they go into, camp and have a pretty solid camp and they're neck and neck, I think they're going to give the nod to the youth. So I do believe Justyn Ross has a better chance of making the team, has a better chance of producing.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that. I'm not going to give up on Josh Gordon completely yet, like some people have, but I do think there's definitely a low ceiling there. Like, we're not going to expect a whole lot out of him either. So hopefully he will come around though. I'm rooting for him. So he stayed straight so far, and maybe he can get back on his feet and get this career rolling again. Because I mean, definitely extreme talent from Josh Gordon. So it'd be nice to get a little bit of that in KC. All right, NFL schedules are set to come out next week. So how bad do you think the Chiefs get burned this year? It seems like we always have one of the tougher strength of schedules in the league, don't we?
Yeah, it seems like always.
I mean, it's
Actually,
obviously it's because of the division, especially this year. I mean, you're already looking at 6 games that are going to be tough games, man.
yeah, and I actually read a thing that said that the Chiefs are scheduled to travel almost 17,000 miles, be it away games, whatever.
Well, I know they
So,
lost. They didn't get the Germany game. They're giving that
right,
to the Bucks and somebody else.
hey, more power to the NFL for not doing that to us, because I was afraid they was going to take one of our home games away for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy that they wouldn't want the probably the last chance at a Brady Mahomes matchup to be their big Germany game, but whatever, NFL, I don't do your marketing. But yeah, I'm with you. At least we don't lose a home game, and the guys don't have to travel halfway across the planet. So I'm good with it.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited to see how it breaks down. I guess that comes out next week. I'm not for sure what day. Is it Wednesday, I think?
I'm not for sure. They were asking fans on Twitter how they should announce these schedules and all this stuff. So I mean, it's kind of corny,
Right.
but whatever. Just give the schedules out. But when they do come out, though, maybe we can give a way too early prediction on wins and losses. Man, that'd be fun.
Yeah, we'll do that. So we keep saying next week, but by the time everybody hears this, it'll be this week. So yeah, probably Friday's episode, we'll probably dig in and we'll do yeah, like you said, some way too early schedule predicting. Spoiler alert, I'm not going to be so high on Denver as everybody else is. I just really do not see Denver becoming a powerhouse like so
No.
quick.
there's some people that are just all in on Denver. A lot of analysts and stuff have them as a potential Super Bowl team and all kinds of stuff. And like, hey, it could happen. There's a chance because I mean, Rich Strike did win the Kentucky Derby today, but that I just don't see it happening, man. I'm with you. I think they will be an improved team, no doubt. But really, as far as their offense goes, they're always talking about their receivers and how great they are, and they've just not had the quarterback. And so they're bringing in Russell, so they're supposed to be all this dominant offense. But I'm going to see more improvement on their defense this year, to be honest, because I think having Randy Gregory, Nick Benito, I think that's going to be a good thing for them. So our tackles are going to have their work cut out for them in those 2 games. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think people are kind of overhyping Denver. They're kind of overhyping the Raiders. The Chargers, I still feel like the Chargers have to be that clear-cut number 2 in the West, and I still think the Chiefs are the clear-cut number 1. I think we've done enough in the draft that until they can prove they can beat us, I don't think they should get the credit.
Right. So our tackles are going to have their work cut out for them in the division games this year. As you know, AFC West really loaded up on talent. So if Kennard does get the start this year, he's going to be facing some crazy edge rushers in the division. So, I mean, think about that for a minute. So when we play Denver, he's looking at either Randy Gregory, Nick Benito, Bradley Chubb, some of those guys. Los Angeles Chargers, it's going to be Bosa and Khalil Mack. And then as far as the Raiders go, they went and got Chandler Jones, was it, to go on the other side of Max Crosby. So that's nasty, man. But, you know, that's really going to show you if Kennard steps in and does get that starting role, it's going to show you what he's about. And I'm excited to see how he responds.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll start week 1, but I do believe at some point, be it injury or just flat out just gets outplayed, I do believe Lucas Niang will not be there all year. So if they think, if he does a better job over Wiley, then I don't see why he don't start, at some point this year.
I think he might start right off the bat. There's a chance of that because, I mean, he's looking good so far. And I'm that big on Kennard. I think he has the tools to do it. So it's a possibility.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess we'll just wrap this up, but yeah, we'll get to that schedule release this week, coming up probably Friday, like I said. So that's going to be fun. We'll do some predictions on how many games the Chiefs will win and lose. So
absolutely. And we'll keep you up with more news on how the rookie camp goes. Hopefully early next week or early this week. If you guys are listening, we might have Bryce Nunley on. Who got an invite to rookie camp. He actually played at Western Michigan with Skyy Moore. So that will be interesting to pick his brain a little bit and see what he has to say. So that I'm excited about that. Also, just make sure that you guys subscribe, hit the notification. Also, go on Twitter, give us a follow, interact with us, ask us some questions. We'll get you on the podcast. Go to allchiefedup.com and read what we have to say. Just like I said earlier, got a new article on there about what the Chiefs may be missing, even though we thought they've checked all the boxes in the draft. And I'm sure Mike has some stuff in the works. So definitely check that out. And we appreciate you guys joining us today and sticking with us. And we will see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in. You've been listening to All Chiefed Up. Be sure to subscribe and follow on all social media at All Chiefed Up.